AOC says so many people in this country hate women. Oh, geez. Even the guy at the party who pulls out a guitar is like, way to ruin the fun. You don't really love America if you hate half the people in it. And also if you hate a lot of the things that everybody always loved about it. There's an oft-repeated moment in political debates where the moderator says to the two candidates, say something nice about your opponent.
Ever since AOC started being floated as the Democrats' supposed golden ticket for 2028, Bill Maher has been hitting the warning sirens harder than ever. This isn't new behavior for him either. He sounded the same alarms back in 2024 when the DNC went all in on Kamala Harris. They ignored him, doubled down, and the result was a political implosion everyone saw coming. Now Maher is back, louder, sharper, and far more frustrated, calling out the cracks forming around the party's newest favorite. He's practically pleading with the left not to repeat the same mistake twice. If you're here for raw, unfiltered political drama that doesn't pull punches, hit that subscribe button and let's break this down properly.
What do you think of the fact that the people who are getting the big crowds right now are AOC and Bernie Sanders? They're going around the country. Thank you, there's that same guy. I call him the always wrong guy. Okay, but I feel like, big crowds, again, the shiny object that the Democrats chase. It's not about the big crowds that come out to you when you're talking in a festival or wherever they are. I think it's because I think Bernie showed up at Coachella. That must have been fun for the fans. It's who shows up on Election Day. And I just don't see that's the ticket. I mean, Cory Booker, I know you've worked with him. I like Cory a lot from my home state of New Jersey. Made a speech for 25 hours. Again, just whacking each other off. This is just not what's going to get the job done.
It didn't take long for concerns to surface once AOC's name started gaining momentum as a potential Kamala Harris replacement. Almost immediately, the rollout began to wobble. Instead of projecting confidence and leadership, AOC stumbled through a series of media appearances that raised more questions than answers. From questionable economic claims to policy explanations that felt more emotional than coherent, the message wasn't landing. And voters noticed. Rather than energizing the base, she started fueling skepticism. If this is who Democrats are positioning as their future standard-bearer, Maher suggests they might want to rethink things fast, because the more she speaks, the more people start asking whether this is really the strongest option on the table.
Unemployment is low because everyone has two jobs. Unemployment is low because people are working 60, 70, 80 hours a week and can barely feed their kids.
Everybody's an idiot except for me.
Capitalism has not always existed in the world, and it will not always exist in the world. When this country
It is the system that, unlike all the others, has lifted more people out of poverty over the course of human history than any other system.
Well, so I think that those things that you talk about, that you discuss, are part of the course of human evolution.
This is exactly why voices like Bill Maher keep slamming the panic button when AOC's name comes up. Strip away the fiery rhetoric, the constant outrage, and the endless social media theatrics, and what's left feels thin. Maher argues that she confuses volume with substance and aggression with leadership. There's plenty of performance, but very little depth or long-term vision. This politics built for viral clips, not durable governance. Maher isn't speculating here. He's reading the writing on the wall. Hitching the party's 2028 hopes to AOC isn't just risky. In his view, it's inviting a full-scale political collapse.
This is a serious problem for Democrats. Less than 1 in 4 Democrats under 30 say they're proud to be an American. 54% say they're embarrassed by it. Embarrassed? Like America's your mom picking you up at school? You're embarrassed to be an American? Well, guess what? The feeling's mutual, because you have no perspective. Is America perfect? No, of course not. No country is.
At the same time, Democrats are bleeding support at an accelerating pace as more voters grow, exhausted with the party's fixation on woke ideology. Biden didn't exit the presidency on a high note. His tenure faded out amid confusion, fatigue, and unmet expectations. Kamala Harris only compounded the problem with rambling speeches and unclear messaging that failed to inspire confidence. Now AOC appears ready to double down on the same ideological bubble that's already pushing middle America away. And for those hoping figures like Gavin Newsom or Tim Walz will rescue the party, Maher isn't optimistic. Their records are littered with controversies, symbolic politics, and policy choices that repel more voters than they attract. Even longtime Democrats are drifting towards centrism, independence, or disengaging altogether. The issue isn't just leadership, it's an ideology that feels completely detached from economic reality, public safety, and basic common sense.
You don't really love America if you hate half the people in it. And also if you hate a lot of the things that everybody always loved about it. There's an oft-repeated moment in political debates where the moderator says to the two candidates, say something nice about your opponent.
Before we get to where Maher ultimately thinks this all leads, it's important to unpack what he's really calling out. At the heart of his critique is what he sees as a deep and often obsessive hostility from AOC and the progressive wing toward America itself. Maher doesn't soften his words. He goes straight after the performative outrage, the fixation on identity politics, and the tendency to treat patriotism as something suspect. In this worldview, anything remotely associated with Trump is automatically labeled immoral, even policies that objectively benefit working Americans. Tax relief becomes bigotry. Law enforcement equals oppression. Energy independence is dismissed as denialism. Practical outcomes don't matter if the wrong person supported them. Maher calls this what it is: ideological self-destruction. Democrats aren't just opposing Trump anymore. They're rejecting reality, and in the process alienating millions of Americans who still believe in the country.
All the talk about fighting for the soul of America, nobody seems to like it very much. Too many liberals give the impression that to them, America's just a big, ugh. The red, white, and ew. A country that started out bad and will always be bad, founded on an unrelenting history of sucking and unable to change. But we have changed a lot. Democrat Cori Bush tweeted, "This land is stolen land and black people still aren't free." And this was on the 4th of July. Really? Not that I give a shit about the 4th of July. I've never been a rah-rah guy. But I am a perspective guy. And that's what too much of the left has lost, perspective.
Maher often jokes that one glance at social media is enough to make him log right back off. The intensity of anti-American sentiment he sees online is staggering. It's a digital storm of resentment, often led by young activists who seem to despise the very nation that gave them the freedom to express that anger in the first place. They mock the country's history, values, and symbols as if America were uniquely evil rather than deeply flawed but historically exceptional. Maher points out that he's traveled extensively, and most countries don't come close to the United States when it comes to freedom, opportunity, or prosperity. Yet, online critics act as if tearing down their own country is some kind of moral badge. In his view, it's not brave. It's detached, entitled, and painfully unaware of global reality.
72% of black people under 30 are optimistic about their future in America. Way more than white people the same age. And as far as the land goes, yes, I guess we could change the name of Captain America to Captain Stolen Land. But honestly, to all the people who start every public event now with one of those land acknowledgements where they say, "I'm standing on land that was stolen from the proud indigenous people of the Chumash tribe," I say either give it back or shut up.
Then there's what Maher describes as the pure performance aspect of AOC's brand of activism. Everything feels staged, rehearsed, and carefully packaged for applause. Rather than projecting genuine leadership, she plays to the crowd. Her carefully crafted image as a scrappy working-class outsider doesn't fully align with the facts. Her upbringing was far more comfortable than the revolutionary persona she markets. Even the oft-repeated bartending narrative is stretched thin. Millions of students work service jobs while studying. It's not some extraordinary escape story. Maher's point isn't to dismiss hard work, but to call out the exaggeration. What's being sold as authenticity increasingly looks like branding, and voters are starting to catch on.
AOC says so many people in this country hate women. Oh, geez. Even the guy at the party who pulls out a guitar is like, way to ruin the fun.
Maher also pushes back hard on the claim that America is inherently hostile to women. When you compare women's rights in the US to much of the world, the contrast is undeniable. Here, women can vote, own property, choose careers, speak freely, hold office, and live independently without legal restriction. In many countries, those freedoms remain distant or non-existent. Yet AOC and others frame America as uniquely oppressive simply because it resists every radical ideological demand. Maher argues that disagreement isn't hatred, and questioning overreach isn't misogyny. The irony, he says, is that critics denounce systemic oppression in one of the most opportunity-rich societies women have ever known.
Congressman Jamal Bowman says capitalism is slavery by another name. No, it's not. It's the thing that has given more people more prosperity and hope than any other system, flawed though it surely is.
The same applies to the relentless attacks on capitalism. Critics love to demonize the system that has driven unprecedented innovation, prosperity, and upward mobility. While alternatives like socialism sound appealing in theory, history shows they often struggle in practice. Centralized systems tend to stifle incentives, slow progress, and limit growth. Maher points to real-world examples where rigid state control led to stagnation rather than equality. People don't risk everything to flee capitalist economies. They flee to them. Capitalism isn't flawless, but it rewards effort, encourages innovation, and adapts in ways controlled systems rarely can. Maher argues America shouldn't flirt with economic fantasies. It should refine what actually works.
Again, something like the free market is kind of synonymous with America. And if you don't like it, I don't know how you can say you love this country. You know who loves this country? You know who's not constantly complaining about what happened 200 years ago and who's not obsessed with seeing America through colored glasses and shaking off the stench of what irredeemable privileged we are? Immigrants.
Immigrants understand this better than anyone. Millions risk their lives to reach the United States, not for ideological slogans, but for opportunity. They cross deserts, oceans, and borders because they know firsthand how limited life can be elsewhere. If America were the nightmare some politicians describe, people wouldn't be desperate to enter. Immigrants chase freedom, stability, and the chance to build something better. Maher finds it telling that many of the loudest critics of America are also the most insulated from hardship. Those who've lived under real oppression recognize exactly why this country matters. America isn't perfect, but it remains one of the strongest engines of liberty the world has ever seen. And that's where Maher leaves it, a warning, a reality check, and a challenge to stop confusing outrage with leadership. That's it for today's video. If this made you think, hit like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more. And this brings us to the end of today's video. If you enjoyed it, then hit the like button and subscribe to this channel for more videos like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next.